Honorable Ravi Karunanayake.
නියෝජකතානායකතුමනි සභාපතිතුමනි මම අගය කරනවා මට ඇමතිතුමා ඉදිරිපත් කරලා පසුව වචන ස්වල්පයක් අද කතා කිරීමට. අද ඉදිරිපත් කරන මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මම ඔබතුමාගෙන් ඉස්සෙල්ලාම ඇහුවා කරුණාකරලා මේකෝගේ අයිතිකරු කියන්නේ කියලා. ඔබතුමා ඒක ඉදිරිපත් කරේ නෑ. ITC වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මම වගකීමකින් කියනවා ෂෙරටන් හෝටලයේ කොල්ලුපිටිය හන්දියේ ගාමිණී ගුරුරත්න කොම්පැනියත් සමග ඒගොල්ලෝ ඒකාබද්ධ වෙලා තිබෙනවා. මේ කොම්පැනි කිසිම ෂෙරටන්යක් ගෑවිලත් නැහැ කියන එක මම මුලින්ම කියන්න කැමතියි. ඉතින් ඔබතුමා මේ වගේ බොරු කියන එක පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඇයි මේ වගේ බොරු කියන්න අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ? ඔබතුමා පිරිසුදු අත්වලින් එනවා නම් මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ
Yeah, what's the point about honorable?
Unless there is a substantive motion, honorable member can't accuse me of boru kiyan. No, how can I? No. How can he do that? No, he can. I mean, he may be having a limited vocabulary, so I can't help that. But there are ways of, if you are casting doubt, there are ways of parliamentary language, sir.
Okay.
But if my friend has a very limited vocabulary, which is exhibited over television every day, I can't.
I am not as old as him. I am not as wise as him. But I am speaking much more truthful than he lies that he uttered here. So please, if you want to be scornful, you can do so. You also must have the ability to listen to what is being told. I am telling with full responsibility, my good friend Gaminee Gururatna signed with Sheraton and the hotel is coming up in Kolpiti Junction. This has nothing to do with Sheraton Hotel. Why are you misleading this parliament? That is the first question that I am asking. My innocent question to you was to please tell who the owners are. You said the ITC, I said to mention the directors. You said the 73 million is the first investment that is being made. How can a 5-star hotel come here and invest 73 million on a hotel when you are saying Shangri-La is investing $496 million? Are you making me bat kadiyat hadanne? ඔබතුමාලගේ පළවෙනි මේ වගේ අවස්ථාවක no I listened to you. You didn't allow me to interject. I am sorry. You just also learn to listen a little. You have lost your sense of ability to get.
Signed between the chairman of the BOI and company secretary ITC Limited, Virginia House, 37 Jail Road, Calcutta.
So where does that show Sheraton Hotel?
Yeah, our agreement with some company.
You said Sheraton.
So company can.
You told here when you are bringing in ITC, they are the ones who are. Well, we are idiots. We are less wiser than him. We are less older than him. But learn to listen to what we are saying.
What's the point about
the government from
Dr.
opposition point of view? No. Please.
In the case of hotels,
That is not a point about
somebody.
For God's sake.
Okay, you carry on.
He had enough time to tell the truth in this house, and now he is getting up and using my time to mislead further. So just learn to listen a little. There is no point repenting when you get back and say, this is the level when you have got to sing hosannas for your dinner. When you have got to protect your ministership, you don't need to lie like this. I am basically virtually telling you, my good friend, Gaminee Gururatna has Sheraton Hotel. Why are you going against him?
You think Hilton company owns the Hilton here?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You in your enthusiasm to show what strategic development companies are brought into this country, you mentioned that ITC, which is Indian Tobacco Company, is bringing Sheraton into this country, which is absolute lie.
No.
You didn't lie. That is why they are using the company. You are welcome, because they don't want to bring Sheraton anywhere close by, because Mr. Gaminee Gururatna has it. So please do not try to basically temper with the actual situation in the country. Anyway, learn to listen a little. The country situation, I appreciate. We as responsible opposition, which has been running countries, running in a manner that has been perdurable, which you have the benefits and the dividends are being used now, we will basically never do something which basically goes against the interest of the country. But when the government is dishing themselves out into disaster, what can we do? That is why when you are lying, this strategic development was brought in 2008. At that particular time, we did say this is a good move that was done. But it must bring in with the benefit of the country. රටේ සංවදනයේ මේ ජාතිකත්වය ආරක්ෂා කරනවා කියන ආණ්ඩුව, ලංකාවේ කොඩිය බදාගෙන හැමතැනම දුවන ආණ්ඩුව, මේ රටේ වෙල්කම් ගෲපේ ෂරටන් විතර නෙමෙයි ක්‍රිස් ගෲප් එක ගෙනල්ලා, අයින්ස ක්‍රිස් ගෲප් එක ගෙනල්ලා ඒක ඉස්සරහ තියෙන බ්‍රිස්ටල් වීදියේ ඉන්න එතන කඩමණ්ඩි 46, එතන මේ අනවශ්‍ය ඉදිරිකීම් කියලා පෙන්වන්න හදලා ඒක කරලා මේ රටේ සංවර්ධනය කරන්න හදන්නේ. මම මේක ගැන වෙනම කතා කරන්නම්. ඒවද මේ රටේ සංවර්ධනය කියන්නේ? අපි කැමතියි. මේ ඔබේ රට විතරක් නෙමෙයි. මේ අපේ රටත්. ඔබතුමාලා මේ කරන අපරාධ නිසා තමයි අද අපි නැකිලා මේ කතා කරන්නේ. අපටත් කැක්කුමක් තියෙන මේ රටේ. අද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මොකද්ද? මුළු ලංකාවම අද හිනාවට පත් වෙලා තිබෙන්නේ. අද මේ ආණ්ඩුව තමයි රටේ ව්‍යවස්ථාව ඕනෑකමින් උල්ලංඝනය කරලා අද රටේ විහිළුකාරයෙකුට පත් වෙලා දැන් මේ රටේ ආයෝජන පස්සෙද දුවන්න හදන්නේ. මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී වගකීමකින් කියනවා කරුණාකර මේ රටේ ජාතික ආර්ථිකයත් එක්ක සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා. අපි අගය කරන ඔබතුමාලා යම් මේ ත්‍රස්තවාද නැති කළා තියෙනවා. ඒක අපි අගය කරනවා. ඒ වගේ අපි කෝක දේශපාලන නෙමෙයි. නමුත් තමාලා ඒ ත්‍රස්තවාද නැති කරා වගේ අද රටේ ආර්ථිකය නැති කරන ගමනක් තමයි ඔබතුමා කරගෙන යන්නේ. මේක තමයි අපිට තියෙන දුක. ඔබතුමාගේ වම් පැත්තේ ඉන්න වැදගත් නියෝජ්‍ය ඇමතිවරයෙක් එතුමාලගේ අද වරයි කොළඹ වරයි නැත්තර නැති කරගෙන යනවා. එතුමන් නොදැනුවත්ව නෙමෙයි දැනගෙන අද කරන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් ඇති වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඒක තමයි මෙතන තිබෙන්නේ.
What's the point of order, Honorable Aswa?
අපි ව්‍යවස්ථාවෙන් බැඳී සිටිනවා ජාතික කොඩියට ගෞරව කරන්න. ජාතික කොඩිය බදාගෙන ලෝ වටේ දුවනලු.
He lost his seat from the bench from there because he doesn't know how to conduct himself. Learn to listen. So the most important thing is in this country is that you have got to look at the basic investment that are coming to this country. I salute, I appreciate Honorable Basil Rajapaksa, whether he's corrected or not. He given a task, he basically does this thing at any cost. That is also dangerous, but any cost, we give that credit to him. But listen, man, you don't need to be, just because of front of him, got to be on your bended knees to him. I am saying, so given a task, but ensure that is in national spirit. Today what you basically look at is, you must have consistency. You are bringing on the November 2011, you bring expropriation bill into this country. Now this is something which is disastrous. If you wanted to do something which is basically, which are detrimental to the country, ensure that you bring certain things that are there. Today you have Mr. Nihal Amarasekara gone before Supreme Court when you had an urgent bill brought to this house. On that particular basis, when there is a doubt, you cannot bring that into this parliament as an urgent bill. Today the former Chief Justice which gave the verdict is basically not able to answer that particular one because that doubt existed, and in a judgment that was read out by the parliament here by the speaker said that doubt was there. Today see what has gone on. So these urgent bills cannot brought. Now today you are paying the price because today the investors are coming to this country and saying this government is not only brought the expropriation bill in 2011 November which hurt the foreign investors in the country. Today they have agreed. Honorable Chamal Rajapaksa from there says that the interpretation clause is only there in the Supreme Court and the judiciary in this country. And then you basically, when they interpret the constitution, then you basically say, no, we don't accept that. So you are willfully, intentionally violating the constitution. So these are matters that the foreign investors are looking. Today you tell us, Honorable Minister, today look at the system that is prevalent in Pakistan. Imagine if that Supreme Court that today is basically taking the Prime Minister for corruption did that here, those guys would have been missing in white vans. But today the Pakistan system is going on because the sense of independence that is there. You have the executive that is there, you have the legislature that is there, and you have the judicial system that is going. The same judiciary got the Prime Minister once before. The same judiciary is after corrupt Prime Minister now. That's the way the system goes go. Just because you all don't like to hear what the independent judiciary has got to tell, that doesn't mean that you're going to impeach a Supreme Court judge. You can do it in style. You don't need 24 hours to do that. Give them a decent sense of time and then do it. You won't have the condemnation that is there in the world like today. America is complaining from that end. ICJ has given a thing. European Union, South Africa, Australia, India, Mauritius. Tell me a country that has stood with you all today and said this is the correct one that you have done. Today even this is the sense of absurdity that is there. And then at the same time, you all are bringing a strategic development act in today to bring investment. Now when you bring saying welcome hotel that is coming in, welcome group as a strategic development act, I am telling you, 73 million is what the minister said is going to be invested. The land that he purchased is 73 million. Then tell me where the rest of the money is going to come for investment. You are giving him the taxation holidays, excise duty holidays. You are exempting them from the airport and port levies. You are exempting them from VAT. Tell me, what are you going to charge those guys? Tell me, why don't you give the same thing to Cinnamon Group? Why don't you give them the same group to the Atkinson's Group? You are basically, the Honourable Minister knows where he was basically involved. There was a company that asked 24 months ago to obtain land. It was given. 2 months later, it was withdrawn. Is that the treatment given to the local companies? So this is why we are saying there has to be a sense of consistency, coherency, and it should be fair play to everybody, not just because somebody wants to come and whitewash their money. Later when I speak about Crest, I'll tell, there is a clear-cut case of trying to whitewash money that are there. You tell me that $496 million that is there. How can you build a 91 floor one with 4 towers that are there? Who has given those rights that are there? These companies that obtained the approval within 24 hours. Other companies are struggling to after 3 years. I am quoting my former treasurer of our United National Party, Mr. Milroy Pereira, a pure Sri Lankan, Billy Budgabua, 36 store, this thing. He took 3 years, 2 months to get his approval, and even today he has not got the approval. So what's the difference? Just because they're Sri Lankans, have they got to be harassed? Or just because they're Indians, do they need to get a special privilege? Or if it's Chinese, they need to get an even better privilege? All we are saying is, investments have to be brought into this country, but then create the conducive climate that is there. The most important one is the trust that flows from this August Assembly. If we intentionally violate the Constitution, which you all have done now, proven to the world, what more do you want to get investments in the country? The rest of it is the Supreme Court that must be there is independent. You don't need to play around with the independence there. Then who is the foreign investor who is going to come to an unknown country? Beautiful little country. Our motherland is beautiful, the best country maybe in the world. But they come with certain guarantees that are there. That is where you're basically going to have the problem, unable to do that. I'm asking you, you basically said $2 billion investment last year. What did you get? $671 million up to September, and then you struggled up to 823 up to end of the year. The BUI came before a committee that was there before Parliament, and this is the information they gave us. You have put $2.5 billion this year. I am telling you, with the disaster that you have served yourself, how can you get investors coming to this country? You may be having jokers like Chris coming in here, trying to whitewash their monies, telling an investment that is $10 is $10 billion, and then say, yes, we got $10 billion into this country, untested, unknown. Even in India, they have not performed themselves. Is coming here and able to show beautiful structures, beautiful brochures, and end of the day what? I am telling you, 46 people that were given by the United National Party in 83 in Bristol Street, all of them were kicked out in less than 1 month. No alternate places given, no compensation given, just because they wanted to give the Crest Towers a nicer environment. Do you basically take away the innocent people who have been there for 30 years, paying rate to the CMC, paying rent to UDA, gazetted by Honourable Kingsley Wickramaratne in your government? Is this a sustainable development that you're talking? So this is where Isala Manushka Muhunaratthi Navashay. Make an Atiandua. තමාලගේ පපුවට ගහලා වැඩක් නැහැ. කොඩිය බදාගෙන දුවලා වැඩක් නැහැ. රටේ ආර්ථික අපේ ජාතිකත්වය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නේ නැති ආණ්ඩුව තාම මොනවද කියන්නේ? හැම වෙලාවෙම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය ඇඟිලි දික් කළා කියන්නේ මුන් මේ සුද්දන්ට වැඩ කරනවා අර කරනවා මේක කරනවා. අද කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ නියෝජන කරන මම මේ රටේ බිම් මංගලක් තිබ්බොත් කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ ඒක අනවශ්‍ය රිදිකිරීම කළා විසි කරලා ඒ අහිංසක අය අවුරුදු 30ක් මේ ඔප්පුවක් තියාගෙන ඉන්න එළියට දාලා විසි කරලා තිබෙනවා. ඒක ඔප්පු කරන්න ගියාම ඔප්පු තියනවා කියලා කිව්වම කච්චරිය පුච්චලා දැම්මා. අපි එදා කියලා කිව්වා මේ කච්චරිය පුච්චලා දාලා තියෙන්නේ අහිංසක 64ක් මේ රටේ ඒ අහිංසක ගෙවල් වලින් අයින් කරන්න කියලා ඒක විශ්වාස කරේ නැහැ. රස පරීක්ෂා තුලින් කරපු මේ වගේ තුලින් කිව්වේ මේක පුච්චලා තියෙනවායි කියලා. මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ තම වචනයක් කතා කරනවද මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන්? හැම කොළම බ්ලුමෙන්ඩාල් රෝඩ් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මට්ටක්කුලේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්, අපේ කෝට්ටේ ආසනේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ හැම තැනම අනවශ්‍ය රිදිකිරීම කියලා අහිංසක අවුරුදු 30 35 40 පර්ච් එකක් දෙකක් තියාගෙන ජීවත් වෙන කට්ටිය සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම විසිකලා දාලා තියෙනවා. Where does the Strategic Development Act provide the humanitarian face to this type of thing? This is what we are basically talking. So We are a country which is working very hard to destroy ourselves. Unfortunately, this is the government that you are in. We as opposition try to protect the country. Our job is not to protect the government, but to protect the country and the innocent people in that. So this is why, Honourable Minister, we respect your age. Tell the truth that is required. You don't need to be saying we are less wise. We may be so. We may be. That is why that we are on this side instead of being singing hosannas for dinner and being on that side. There are more respectable Honourable Ministers in that side who today have said, අනේ අපට මේ පසුපෙළ විපක්ෂ පසුපෙළ මන්ත්‍රීවරයෙක් වෙන එක වැඩිය හොඳයි ඇමතිවරයෙක් වෙනවට වැඩිය. කුලියට කයිලා මේ කරනවට වැඩිය. That is the reason. I guess don't lose your sense of respectability. That is what happened to Honourable Vasudeva Nanayake. Look at the way D. Gunasekara voted. Look at the way Tissa Vitarna acted. Look at the way Gadadira did. Look at the way Rajiva Vijay acted. That is with your conscience. And that is why we are getting up from opposition and telling when you are wrong, you are wrong. If you are right, we say so. We say the minister has brought the investment the correct way. But what is brought? What is the thing that is on? You look at the situation. You are telling the strategic development. You answered to me in this parliament on the 21st of December or February 2012. You say Shangri-La investment is bringing $462 million US in Colombo investment. Now you are basically saying on the 8th of January 2013, it is down from 462 to 408. Then you say Shangri-La Hambantota on 2012 February you said 525 million. This is Hambantota, your King's area. Now you have brought it down to 120 in February. $400 million loss. Where has it gone to? Is this hype that is being done? These are what you are asking, strategic development that are there, which you are basically given approval. No excise duty, no VAT, no corporate tax, no 100% land tax, no airport port levies. Is this what you expected? අපේ අහිංසක මේ රටේ කිරි පැකට් එකක් ගන්න එකට බදු තියෙනවා. මේ රටේ අහිංසක මේ උබල කඩ ටිකක් ගේනවා නම් බදු තියෙනවා. අද හාල්මැස්සෝ ගිය සුමානේ 200 315යි දැන් 565යි ඒ වගේ බදු දාලා තියෙන එකට ඔබතුමාලා ඒගොල්ලෙන් බදු අය කරනවා. මේ වගේ Shangri-La ඔබතුමා කියන වෙල්කම් ඒ අයට බදු නැද්ද? එහෙනම් කවුද මේ රටේ බදු ගෙවන්නේ? Likewise, you have Colombo Port, which in February 2012 you said 500 million. Now you are basically saying this investment has come down to 460 million. Then the investment in Steel Corporation, I don't know what investment it is, which has been running there. It only changed hands from Dubai to a local company. Once again, we think it has been only whitewashing the black money that is there. You had said 80 million there, 50 million back down here. Colombo Port, you mentioned in February it was 1,310 million US dollars. In February, the 8th of January 2013, you basically say that investment is down to $500 million. So where may make සියයට 50කින් අඩු වෙන මේ ආයෝජන මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? මේ සුරංගන ලෝකයෙන් ඔබතුමාලා කැබිනට් එකට ගිහිලා බොහොම ලොකුවට කියන මෙන්න ආයෝජන එනවා කියලා කෝටි 1310ක් ඊට පස්සේ මෙහාට ආවට පස්සේ අවුරුද්දකින් ඒක 500ට අඩු වෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ වගේවද මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තෙන් ඇවිල්ලා බොරු කියලා ඉල්ලන්නේ? මම දැන් කියලා තියෙනවා සංගරි මේ ෂෙරටන් එක ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැයි කියලා. මේක හදන්න පටන් ගත්තාම ඔබතුමාද මමද කියලා ඔප්පු වෙනවා. මොකද ඒ නිසා තමයි මම ඊටමත් ඕනෙකම ඔබතුමාගේ ඉල්ලීමක් කරේ. මේ ස්ට්‍රැටජික් ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් ඇක්ට් එක කියන්නේ මෙතන විවෘතභාවයෙන් ඇවිල්ලා කියන්න තියෙන දේවල්. ඒක තමයි මෙතන අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ අහනවා. Today, look at the stock exchange. You are talking on the stock exchange. You are talking of the investment climate. You are going to China. You are talking of you are talking of Bali. You are talking of Maldives. You are talking of Thailand. I am telling you with all responsibility. You are basically, Maldives has 975,000 tourists. All of them, the average minimum spending rate is $425 US dollars. Colombo, we have 1 million tourists. Average spending is $73 US dollars. What is the purpose? It is as good as having only 200,000 tourists coming in. Be actual. If Honorable Basil Rajapaksa or one of the American passport holders goes out and come, he is also treated as a foreign tourist. That is the difference that is there in this country.
So, please, one more minute here.
No.
So, you are going on the basis, you have Thailand which has 12.2 million tourists. Are you talking, you are going to compare with us? Bali, what is the problem? They had problems 8 years ago. Nothing at all. They had 33% increase last year. Why you, such a senior minister, former finance minister, and a senior minister now, is this the way you lie to the IMF also? I am asking. These type of things is not expected of a personal view. I can imagine other jokers that are there. I am standing here as a principal opposition speaker speaking because we need this clarity. You are coming us and telling to give us this exemption when we know that these are absolute lies. Market capitalization 20 billion. That is 33% of GDP. The total GDP is only $60 billion. You are talking of only 288 companies that are listed, 10,000 registered companies. Tell us whether these are right or wrong. You are basically saying investments this year, last year 2 billion you targeted, only $893 million came in. And of that, infrastructure also in that. Not the foreign direct investment that you are talking when we were calculating, which didn't have infrastructure in that. Today it is all infrastructure related that is there. Then likewise, this year you are targeting 2.5 billion. I hope that you were able to get even 20% of that. That is the stark reality that is there. Then you are looking at the sensitivity that is there. Thank you. You see the sensitivity that is there today. I mentioned about the Americans that are relating. You are sending three secretaries today. Are they coming here as to ask how you impeach and so that they also can impeach the Chief Justice there? Or is somebody, the Secretary Defense is coming here, Assistant Secretary Defense is coming here to see how you lift in white vans and so that they can do it in America? No, they are coming to tell you, get your house in order. You want American investment that are there in this country? If that is the case, please play by the international rules that are there. Why is GLP in India today? He has not gone for investment. He is going to see as to how he can basically rectify the errors that have been created. What investments that are there? We have 16 billion investments that are between the two countries. So that is good. That is the thrust that was done to the Indo-Lanka agreement. We basically developed it even further. Today there is no quantitative direction that is there. The shape of where is it? We are asking you, the government, India is the biggest trading partner with us. Ensure that we treat them as a fair player rather than a threat to us. Together we can basically have a threat on the world. But if we try to take India on, we'll never be able to go forward on the basis not to be at their bended knees. But that's the way that you've got to take regional trade into the world trade. That is where you had Vietnam, you had Cambodia, you got Laos, those countries developed. And today Myanmar has joined the same thing because Myanmar is the biggest threat to us. We are not the only investor, we are not the only girl on the beach. Sri Lanka is struggling to come forward. We have to got our apparatus all in proper order. Independent judiciary, a government that doesn't intensely violate the constitution, a government that basically able to have a proper record in the systems that are there, not to have taxes that change from one month to the next month. That is where the consistency that is applied on. Then, Honourable Minister, we are asking your policy. You basically asked us at the last debate, what is your policy? Your government is saying you are not privatizing. You are saying electricity should be privatized. Amanugama says so. Well, basically, you know what is there. You know the situation today as to the climatic condition. You have Air Asia that has suspended flights to Colombo. They had 7 flights to Colombo. They have suspended that. Gulf Air had 10 flights. They have suspended that. Well and good. Korean Airlines is coming. Turkish Airlines is coming. But what is happening to airlines that flew here? Because there is no revenue that is coming in. They know that because Air Asia is suspended, because there is no revenue in this particular sector. Same is Gulf Air. So then there is something radically wrong in our approach that is there. So, Honourable Minister, just because we from the opposition say so, don't treat it like asinine or don't treat it like cyanide. This is where you all go wrong. If you basically did what we basically said, today we'll be able to have a economy that is withstanding the pressures that are there, that are coming from the international world. Today European is recession, America is just coming out of recession. You have the Asia which is pending today, but you are not able to take them on in the correct way. You mentioned that Maldives is reducing, but I'm telling you $423 US per day per spending. Isn't that something which we would love to have? We are basically previous year, $86, went down to $73. So either there is no quality tourists coming in, or you're just adding numbers just to say you have 1 million tourists that are coming in. We are basically totally with you all. Tourists have to be developed. We said first this, and now you're basically following us. So, Honourable Minister, all we can basically say is, just confirm what your policy is. You all say no privatization, and I must say, you have gone on record when we basically resurrected, owing to the fact that you all sold bread at 350 and ruined CWE. We basically resurrected that and made it a debt-free company, and I salute you for telling that. One thing that you all did correct was able to make that loss-making a profit-making. Likewise, you are saying so. So that means you know where the problem is. You as a minister in charge of IMF, you know the external conditions that are there for internal affairs that are there. So you are basically speaking the truth. But Is your Minister of Power and Energy accepting what you say? If that is the case, what are you saying? Your personal opinion against the cabinet of opinion. So then you basically say Kane Advance. No, that is also a strategic development company. What is the strategic development in that to get tax benefit? They are coming in for opportunity. A company that has been given the best opportunity without any tender, and you are giving them tax exemptions as well. What more are you expecting? Now you are basically, they did the first one, it was a failure. The second one, it was a failure. All this explorations, the benefit comes just before election. You mentioned in 2010 presidential election, Pesale tel hambunai kiwa, Mannarame tel labenawa kiwa, Kolama Nagara Sawadi issalla gas India hambunai kiyala kiwa me okkoma baru. Then Kane ada pathare diyana. Kane advances phase 2 drilling in Mena Basin by 3 months. So what is this particular one? Because the first one was a failure, second one was a failure, third one is. Not that there isn't, but the cost of exploration or excavation is not sufficient enough to be commercially viable. Not that you don't have oil in this area. Now that is the difference. So Honourable Minister, when you are looking at the strategic development, as I told you, you are basically asking Hyatt Regency. What is Hyatt Regency? You basically expropriated this right of Golden Key, Celestial Towers into them. You still have not got the legal right because the company that owns is not what you have expropriated here. Now, you sold a value of 9.5 billion. That was the offer that came to KPMG. That was the offer that came to Mr. Lakshman Watawala, the 8.5 billion. You sold it to 4 shareholders, which are even not government owned, which is a company which is Sino-China Spa Private Limited, owned by 4 people. 40 rupees is share capital. You sold the company for 3.5 billion. If you sold it to KPMG for 9.5 billion, all the Golden Key deposit would have been paid. Today, owing to the Shirani Bandaranaike impeachment, you made a big song and dance. At the end of the day, what happened? You basically played out the Golden Key members, very ably assisted by the governor of the central bank. I am naming him because we have gone to corruption, to the Bribery and Corruption Commission. Say, here is the man with official proof. Nothing has been done to him. ඔබතුමාලා කිව්වා අපේ අපදික් කළා ශිරානි බණ්ඩාරනායක මේ ගේන්න කිව්වේ අපි කියලා. දැන් අපි කියන නිවාඩ් කප්පරල් ගේන්න කියලා. ඒ වගේම පැය 24 වැඩේ කරන්න කියලා. ඇයි ඒව ගේන්නේ නැත්තේ? ඔබතුමාලගේ හෙන්චයිල නිසා දේව හංගන්නේ. ඒ හොඳ වැඩ සාක්කු පුරවන එකද හොඳ වැඩ. මේව තමයි කියන්නේ ඉතින්. ඔබතුමාලා මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා ඔබතුමාලගේ අතිදක්ෂතාවය. පැය 24 වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන් එක. දැන් අපි කියලා තියෙනවා මාස දෙකක් දීලා තියෙනවා දැන් පෙන්නන්න. ඕව තමයි තියෙන්නේ ඉතින් ඒ ගෝල්ඩන් කී ඒ කම්පැනි ඒ තැන්පත් කරුවන්ට මේ ගෝල්ඩන් කී එක 9 Celestial Tower 9.5 billion විකුණන්න නැතුව 3.5 billion විකුණන්න නැතුව 9.5 billion විකනන් ඒ සියලු දෙනා ගෙවන්න තිබ්බා. අර අහිංසක 38 දෙනෙක් මැරෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ මේක කරා නම් දැන් ඒ කෙනගේ පපුව කැක්කුමක් තියෙන අයත් සමග කරුණා කළා මේ වගේ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න එපා. ඔබතුමාලා වැරද්දක් කළා තියෙනවා කියන්න. අපි සියලු දෙනාම මිනිස්සුયો. නමුත් මේ වගේ ඒ තැන්පත් කරුණ දැන් කියලා තියෙනවා. ඇයි කෝ ෆින්ගාර විකුණලා කොහෙද සල්ලි ආවේ? කොහෙද සිලන් ප්‍රින්ටර්ස් කොයි පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරයාටද සිලින්කෝ ප්‍රින්ටර්ස් දැන් අයිති වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? කොයි මේ ගෝල්ඩන් කී කම්පැනි වල තියෙන සල්ලි කොහෙද ගිහිලා තියෙන්නේ? තැන්පත් කරුවන්ගෙන් 100%යි ගෙවලා තියෙන්නේ. අනිත් ඒවා කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ? රජයේ දන්න අය තමයි ඒ කම්පැනි දුවන්නේ. EDB chairman ජනක රත්නායක එතුමා තමයි සුප්‍රීම කෝර්ටේ ගිහිල්ලා 150ක් තමාම ලියාගත්ත තමාටම සුප්‍රීම කෝර්ටේ කිව්ව වැරදිකරුයි කියලා. 100යි පැමිණිල්ලක් කරා. ඒ අය තමයි ඇවිල්ලා කියන්නේ ශිරානි බණ්ඩාරනායක 1.5 මිලියන් ලෝන් එකක් ගත්තා මේ ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් ගත්තා කියලා. අශෝක සිල්වට ලැබුණ නැද්ද? ඒ අනිත් 1300 ලැබුණ නැද්ද? මේ වගේ බොරු කළ වැඩක් තියනවද? වැරද්දක් කළා තියනවද? වැරද්දක් කර හරි පාට ගියන්න. අපි නැහැ කිව්වේ නැහැ. අපට යම් විදිය මාධ්‍ය පෙන්වන්න අපිත් ආණ්ඩුවත් එක මේ කත් අදින මේක වැඩේ කරන්න කියලා. අපි එමුනේ මේ. අපේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු සුපිරිභාවය.
One more minute.
I was given 10 minutes, Honorable Deputy. Just give me 5 minutes more.
Okay.
Yeah, so just thank you very much.
Sorry.
So likewise, Hyatt Regency. Then make Chris Towers. Then make Chris Towers වල අපි අහනවා මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන සල්ලි කොහෙද ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන්නේ? You have a cabinet agreement on the 12th of September 2011. Pay 10% on the day of signing and the rest of it when you get possession of the land. You change that. Cabinet අනුමැතිය දීලා තියෙන එක උල්ලංඝනය කරලා තියෙනවා. දෙවනි වතාවට ඇවිල්ලා ආයෙත් අසං කරන ඇඩෙන්ඩම් එකක් එක්ක. ඒකේ කියනවා 110ක් ගෙවන්න, ඉතුරු 130 ගෙවන්න මේ දවස්වල අනිත් එක මාර්තු 30 වෙනිදා ගෙවන්න කියලා. දැන් ගෙවලා තිබෙනවද? මේකේ ඔව් ඔබතුමා අපේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු උත්තර දෙන්න නිසා අපි ඉඩ දෙන්න. නෑ අමතක ඒක ඔබතුමා මයිට ඊට වැඩි වැදගත් දෙයක් මම හිතුවා මම වැරද්දක් කරලා තියෙනවා. නෑ අපි දන්නවා. ඒක දෙවෙනි ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එකට ගියේ. අපි අහනවා කවුද මේකේ අයිතිකරු? මේ අයිතිකරු මේ සම්බන්ධ ක්‍රෙස් ටවර්ස් වල ක්‍රෙස් ට්‍රාන්ස්වර්ක්ස් ප්‍රයිවට් ලිමිටඩ් කම්පැනි දාලා තියෙනවා. මේකේ කාල්ටන් හෝටලේ ගේනවා රිච් කාල්ටන් ගේනවා තියෙනවා කියලා පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා. අපි අහනවා වගකීමකින් මේ රටේ හොඳම මිනිත්තු දෙකකින් ආකිටෙක්ට්ස්ලා මිල්රොයි පෙරේරා මේ රටේ ඒ වගේ කට්ටිය කියලා තියෙනවා. මේ හේමක ඩියාලිස්ලා හදලා තියෙන හෝටල් මේ apartment කියලා කියනවා 30000කට මේ වගේ විකුණන්න බැහැ කියලා. එහෙනම් මේක කාගේ කළු සල්ලිද මේ සුදු කරන්න හදන්නේ? මේක මෙන්න මේකේ පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා ඇමරිකාවෙත් නෑ මේ වගේ දේවල්. ඔබතුමා කිව්වනේ දැන් මට සමහර බයයි ඔබතුමා කිව්වා මේ මඩකලුපේ ගියාම ඇමරිකාවට පාරවත්තරේ හොඳට ගිහිල්ලා මම හිතන්නේ මෑතක ඇමරිකාවේ ගිහිල්ලා නෑ නැත්නම් ඔබතුමා මඩකලුපට මෑතකට ගිහිල්ලා නෑ. ගිය සෝවානේ අපි ගියා වාකරේ පාලම කැඩිලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔබතුමා කියන ඇමරිකාවේත් වගේ තියෙනවා.
Okay, thank you very much.
ඔය ඉතින් මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මට කියන්න පුළුවන් ගන්නේ කරුණාකරලා මේ වගේ දේවල් අර බ්‍රිසල් ටීවී 46 දෙනාගේ සමාගේ මොතක් ඉන්නකෝ
I can't give the time because
I started at 2:15 so on that basis මේ බ්‍රිසල් ස්ට්‍රීට් එකේ නෛතික භාවය තියෙන නාගරික සංවර්ධන කට්ටියට විකල්ප ඉදමක් දීලා ඒගොල්ලෝ සල්ලි ලබලා දීලා කරුණාකරලා මනුෂ්‍ය භාවයෙන් මේ කටයුතු කරන්න කියන එක මතක් කිරීමෙන්
Hon Ravi